Hello, my name's Debbie and I work on the Careerpilot team at the University of Bath. While people are working at home, we've decided to put together some sessions for students, allowing them to use Careerpilot to find out more about their future career. It might be that you've chosen your GCSE options this year and you're looking forward to starting them in Year 10. Or it might be that if you've already started your GCSEs, you're looking forward to continuing them and working towards your post-16 options. There's a worksheet to download alongside the video, so you can fill that in as you complete the activities online. So here we go. So we're going to spend today's session using Careerpilot to think more about the subjects and skills that might be useful and might lead to a job in the future that you're really keen to do. So the 4 jobs that are shown on the screen, some of you will be really familiar with, and some of you may even want to do one of the jobs in one of the pictures. The current pandemic has certainly led to young people thinking a bit differently about the future, and it might be that you've started to think differently about what you want to do, whether that's a frontline healthcare worker, a social worker, a teacher, a farmer, whatever it is. There's still time for you to think about and develop your ideas for what you might want to do. The people who are working in the pictures, it's probably fairly straightforward to think about the subjects and skills that would be useful for those particular jobs. And today it's time for you to start thinking about that in more detail about whether you've got the skills needed for some of these particular jobs. And there are hundreds and hundreds of jobs out there that you've probably never even heard of. So again today, try and spend some time thinking about jobs, and some jobs that perhaps you may not have heard of that you might think you want to do. We're going to be using Careerpilot, and Careerpilot's a free careers information website funded by 20 universities in the south of England. It's one place where you can go and find out information from Year 7 to Year 13. So you can use this again next year and the year after to keep on planning your career and think about things that are important to you. You can save what you look at within the section called Career Tools. You can bookmark pages, and you can save the answers to the quizzes that you complete. And all of this can be shared with your supporters, so teachers, careers advisors or parents, because there's a report that moves up with you every year. This is what Careerpilot looks like, and this is the home page. And so shortly I'll log on to Careerpilot and show you the various parts of the site that will be useful for you. You get to set up an account, and by doing that you personalise the information that you save. And all of the time you can tick off the various activities that we're working through today, and that will allow you to save your information in your report. Some of the sections that we are going to be looking at today is jobs and job sectors, and this is where there's a wealth of information about salaries, qualifications and pathways in how to get into particular jobs. We'll be looking at the 3-stage process. So the 3-stage process in careers involves exploring yourself, thinking more about your likes, dislikes, hobbies, experiences and skills, and thinking about how that might relate to a career that you will enjoy. You might want to explore your options. So you may have already chosen your options for Year 10, so you might want to start thinking about post-16 options. What might you want to do at the age of 16, or even beyond that, at your next decision-making point at the age of 18. You might want to finish by planning your next steps. What things do you need to do in order to get to the career that you want, or to follow the pathway that you're thinking about? What things can you do to improve your skills and your work experience, and so on? There are other parts of the site that you could go directly to. So if you've already started to think that university might be for you, or you might prefer to do an apprenticeship, there are various parts of the site that you can start exploring today that will give you some of that information. So let's start. I'm going to show you the Start With You section in a moment, and within the Start With You section there's an Activities for Your Age button. So you'll simply click on that and you'll click on the Year 9 activities, and so that page will direct you to the different activities that we want you to complete. And again, the information worksheet that you can download will help you to do that also. If you haven't got an account on Careerpilot already, the first thing you're going to do is to register on Careerpilot. And again, I'll show you how to do that. If you've already been using Careerpilot in your school, then it might be a matter of just signing in or logging in. And if you've forgotten your password, there is a forgotten password facility. So once you've registered and set up an account or signed in, the next thing we're going to do is start thinking about the subjects that you're currently studying. Where could they lead to? So we'll start with a subject and start finding out more. We'll then move on to exploring your options, either at 14 or more likely, if you've chosen your GCSE options already, thinking about your post-16 options. We'll start thinking about the skills that you've got and the skills that you want to develop. And it might even have been that in this time that you've been working at home, you've had the opportunity to develop many skills that perhaps you wouldn't have done otherwise. And we'll spend lots of time looking at jobs, thinking more about the jobs that you might want to do in the future. And if you've got the skills already, or if you need to start thinking about how you might develop the skills ready for that particular job. So when you're registering for Careerpilot, you simply click on the top right, sign in or register, and the system will ask you for various bits of information about yourself. It's all GDPR safe, so your data won't go anywhere. But the kind of things you need to put in order to set up an account is your email address and your postcode and where you go to school. So the postcode is simply so we can see which regions of the country are using the site. You can use a personal email address or a school email address, it really doesn't matter, but try and remember to type it in correctly because sometimes school email addresses are really long, and so just make sure you put the dots in the right places. Try to use a password that you'll remember because it might be that you use the site again either when you get back to the school this year or next year. So I'll show you how to do that shortly. So this is what the Careerpilot website looks like when you first log in, and you can find that by typing Careerpilot into Google or your search engine. There's lots of information on the page, but it might be that depending on what you're using to access the website, that you don't see the career tools section like my screen. It might be that it's hidden. So you might have three lines in the top right that you need to click on in order to access the career tools section. So the first thing we're going to do is register. So you click on register and you'll find that the screen is asking you to put in lots of information. So you put your information in, remembering to try and remember your email address and the password and so on. And when it comes down to selecting your school, you simply start typing in the name of your school and it should appear in the drop-down list. So you click on your school and then you can put yourself into the correct year group of year 9. Then it will ask you to enter a captcha code, and that's simply to type in whatever appears in the grey box to make sure that you're not a spammer or a robot, and you click on next. So I've already got an account, so I click on sign in and I will be taken to the website. If you've forgotten your password from a previous sign in, then you can click on the forgotten password button. So I sign in and then I'm taken to this page, which is what you'll find when you log in. So you're then going to work through the various activities for year 9 by clicking on Start with You, and you get to Start with You and you click on Activities for your age. So you click on year 9 and you're taken through the various activities to do. So you've already completed number 1, which was to register or sign in. And the next thing you're going to do is a pre-16 skills map. So you click on pre-16 skills map and you will work your way through the various activities. So you click on create pre-16 skills map, give it a title of year 9 and you click on next. And then you do the following, you answer the various questions, ticking all the things that you've done. And it might be the things that you've done inside of school or outside of school, your hobbies, your experiences, and you work your way through the various pages. So I'm just doing this fairly randomly, but if you take your time to read the statements, and tick any that you think that you have done. And this is going to allow you to identify the skills that you've already achieved. So this is the results page of the Pre-16 skills map, and here you'll see in the pink are all the questions that you've ticked, and in the green box is the skill that has allowed you to achieve. So you can scroll down and see all the different questions you answered and the skills that you've got. And over on the right here is something called the skills bank, and that's a grid that allows you to see your top matches and all the way down to your bottom matches, giving you some ideas as to some of the skills that you need to work on a bit further. And if you feel that something's not been tackled in the questions, you can add your own example. For instance, it might be that during this time you've done some volunteering for your neighbour, you might have been helping to get their shopping, or you might have just been going around to say hello and keeping them company, and you can tick some of the skills that you think that has allowed you to demonstrate, and then that will be added to your skills bank. So all the time over the next few years you can be starting to think of activities that you can do that will allow you to build up your skills bank. So now that you've completed the Pre-16 skills map, you'll have achieved a tick next to the Pre-16 skills map icon in the career tools. So all the time you can show the activities that you've completed, and also you've now got a better idea of some of the skills that you've got. So once we've done the Pre-16 skills map, you go back to activities for your age and you click on year 9. And the next thing you're going to have a little look at is you're going to start with a subject. So this will allow you to start thinking about some of the jobs that are related to your favourite subjects. So you might pick one of your favourites, perhaps it's computing, and you simply click on the subject that you enjoy, and that will give you some information about the course, and it will give you some ideas about some of the jobs that computing could lead to, and you click on any one of these links and that will take you to the job profile and some courses and university courses or apprenticeships that might be applicable to computing. So you can look at as many of those as you like to start to get a feel for jobs related to subjects. So back to start with you and activities for your age group for year 9. So we've done the Pre-16 skills map, you've looked at start with subject. You could now start looking at choices. So that might be choices at 14 or looking at the GCSE section, or it might be that you want to start planning ahead and starting looking at your post-16 options. So spend some time looking at your options there. And then finally, the last thing to do is to start really looking at jobs and job sectors and things that you might be interested in. It might be that you've not taken the job sector quiz. So that's another thing that you might do. So if you go back to the top and click on jobs, these are all the things that you can do to find out more about jobs that you're familiar with, or you might want to find out more information about certain types of jobs. If you have an idea already about what you want to do in the future, you simply type in the name of the job and search, and that will give you some ideas to start looking at. And each one of these boxes links to a job profile, which will give you information about the job, whether that's the salary, the annual salary, that's per year, the working hours, and this is the prediction, the labour market information, as to whether that job is going to be in demand in the future or whether it's likely to decrease. So I've clicked on English as a foreign language teacher, so somebody who teaches people to speak English, and it looks like there's a prediction that there's going to be a 6% increase in the demand for this job in the future. Each of these job profiles will give you some information about what that particular job involves, what you'll actually do, the entry requirements and how you get into that job, so you can start planning whether you need to go to university or college or do an apprenticeship for that particular job, where the jobs are, so a graph to show employment by region, and lots of other information about a particular job. There might be some videos to help you think more about that job, so videos of people doing that particular job or something similar, And at the bottom of each job profile, you'll see that there's a list of the skills required for that particular job. And alongside that, now that you've completed the pre-16 skills map, will be the skills that you've already got. So you can start to compare your skills with the skills that the job requires. All the time you can bookmark these pages by clicking on Add this to my job sectors, and if you're really interested in that particular job, you can click on Definitely Interested and it will turn green, or if you're just exploring at this page, you can click on the orange button and it will turn orange to show that. So there's lots and lots of information in jobs, and you can go directly to the job that you're interested in, search by a particular job sector, and that area looks like this. You can search by different subsections and go directly to those and start looking at those. We've already mentioned start with a subject, which is also here. And if you need some more information, you can complete the job sector quiz, which is here. And that's a little quiz where you tick on the pictures or the statements that you think you would like to do in a job, i.e. would you like to work indoors or outdoors? Would you like to work outside on a farm in agriculture? Would you like to work with money? And you work your way through the quiz, and then at the end, to give you a little bit more of an idea, you'll have a match, and that will give you some suggestions as to some job sectors that you want to start exploring. So all the time, this should be building up your information about the skills and the jobs that you might be suited to. And once you've completed all of these things, your career tools will have saved that information. So I've just clicked on My Job Sectors within Career Tools, and as you can see, I've started to build up a profile that shows me, or somebody that I'm working with alongside, one of my supporters, that I'm interested in childcare, I'm interested in education, design and planning, and then these are all the job profiles that I've looked at, and I can simply click on one of these hyperlinks and it would take me straight back to that job profile, so I can start to see it again. And then the results from my job sector quiz are here as well. So all of those things about the jobs and what I've been looking at have all been saved within my career tools. And now if I click on View My Full Report, I also get to see all of the other things that I've been looking at and that I've completed within Career Tools. There's lots and lots of information there because I've completed lots and lots of things on here. So that's all there, and then just to remind you, you could just be exploring your way through Careerpilot, looking at explore your options, and then you might get to the point where you want to set yourself a target to do with career planning. And you can do that in Plan My Next Steps. So it might be that you're going to think about some work experience in year 10. And so you can set yourselves that new action point by clicking there. And then it might be something like phone up, I don't know, Intel for a work experience placement. So if you've already got something in mind, you could put that there. It might be that you want to start researching places for your work experience in year 10. Whatever it might be, you can set yourselves a target within action planning. And again, that will be recorded within your career tools. So there's lots and lots of things for you to be looking at on Careerpilot. So today it's just about starting that process and starting to find out more. And you can work along on the worksheet and that will help you as well. Okay, so hopefully you've worked your way through the various activities and you found out more. It might be that you chose one of these subjects, and hopefully that's confirmed that you're still pleased to have picked the subjects that you're interested in and found out a little bit more about where those subjects might lead. Some of you might have got a high match on your skills bank, so did you get over 80%? Have you got more of an idea about the skills that you need to work on and how they match up with the jobs that you looked at? So again, have a look at that and see which skills you're really developing. And then hopefully you got to the point where you viewed your report and you looked at all the things that you've saved ready to be working on when you get back to school. So well done on that. and hopefully it's been useful. If you'd like to be in with the chance of winning a £10 Amazon voucher, we're really keen to get feedback from students who have used the Careerpilot website. So if you've enjoyed the session, or if you think there are things on the site that could be improved, we'd really like to hear that. So in order to find the survey link, you need to go back onto Careerpilot, onto the home page, and then down at the bottom there's a box, and the box can be changed, as in what is shown within the box, by clicking on the arrows. And if you click on the arrows until you get to the Give Feedback section and click on Find Out More, that will take you to a survey which takes a couple of minutes, and if you complete that, there'll be a draw for a £10 Amazon voucher over the next few weeks. Okay, hope that's been useful. Thanks.